So obviously our first training was about what we document, how you document, to make sure that that is all clear. What this training is about how we do individualized support, known as active support, to the individual. So it's very person-centered, okay? So PBS, obviously my role, positive behavior support, and active support, active support is it's a methodology, it is a theory, but it's got very practical steps which all of us can be using on a daily basis with all of the residents that we're working with, okay? So, a bit of a background about what active support is. It's broken down into 4 different steps, 4 different stages, okay? So, it's a lot of reading, so I will try and break it down a bit more. So the idea of active support, it isn't about how we care for the people we're supporting. It is about how we are working with them to become more independent, okay? We are here as support workers. We are not here as carers, okay? Carers focuses a lot on basic needs, your cleaning, your medication, your cooking, all of that. That's what a carer does. What a support worker does, which is what we all are within this organisation, it is about trying to promote as much independence as possible for the people that we're working with, okay? And the idea is for them to then be more involved in their own lives. You guys should not be doing everything for the residents. Some of them need a bit of extra support, of course they do, but everything should not be done by you guys as support workers. We need to try and encourage the residents to do this as much as they possibly can, as independently as they can. That might not be everything, that might be smaller things, which we'll go into, because if we do that, it is about decreasing their challenging behaviour. We decrease their challenging behaviour because they're more involved with their care. They feel more engaged, they feel more like their lives are more meaningful, that they're not just here being, as I said, cared for, that they are becoming adult, independent individuals, as independent as possible, okay? And how we do that, as I said, the theory behind it is about providing proactive strategies. So not waiting for incidents or accidents to happen. It's about what we can put in place beforehand to try and make those behaviours lessen and therefore improve their levels of independence, okay? Because if they're involved in more meaningful things, then they will be able to have more social relationships, they'll be able to develop more skills as well. It makes their life better. Also, it makes your life better because you guys aren't doing everything for them. So if CK is able to pour the drink for himself, as an example, that's one less thing for you to do as a carer. If MG is able to choose what he wants for breakfast, that is not you doing that choice for him, it's him being in control of that situation. If IG is able to make sure if she wants to go out, for example, or she wants her pasta, let's use that as an example. If she wants her pasta, taking that choice away from her limits her opportunities and therefore results in more challenging behaviour, because it is about her being in control of that situation, about in that moment, okay? And the overall point of active support is improving the overall quality of life of the individual, which is what PBS is. PBS, positive behaviour support, is about improving quality of life. There's no other, that is it in a nutshell. And the only way we do that is to give them as many opportunities as possible to be able to do that, okay? So the categories it breaks down to, every moment has potential, okay? So with this, using activities that they do, such as cleaning up the house, because I know Indigo likes cleaning, for example, so I like cleaning. It's okay, this is going to be an internal video, it's no problem. And also everything here is going to be confidential for the organisation, so don't worry. So, but if she likes doing stuff around the house, so it's getting her to do as much of that as possible without you guys having to do that, okay? And again, when it comes to RE, visiting friends and family, we know how much he wants to see his mum. And so for him to do that as much as possible, we need to do what we can to try and enable him to do that, no matter how challenging it can be, because that will overall improve his quality of life. Okay? Doing things little and often. Okay, so that is about breaking these big activities, such as cooking or cleaning, into small tasks. Okay, step-by-step tasks. They don't need to be able to completely clean their room themselves. That might not be something possible at this moment in time, but if you get them to get the mop, get the sweeper and do some of that, at least that gives them a chance to be successful in something and feel like they are doing something meaningful with their lives. And so, as I said, that comes down to breaking down activities from big things like going out in the community, for example. That can be broken down to remembering keys, remembering to close the door, putting on the right clothes, making sure there's money available, choosing where she wants to go, where the guys want to go. It is about breaking all of those down into small, manageable activities, okay? The next point is graded assistance. This is about over-supporting and under-supporting the individuals. So we are all guilty, including myself, of over-supporting at times. A lot of the individuals, they might be able to do one or two things themselves, if not everything. Some might be able to do everything themselves, some might just be one or two things, but we get caught into the trap of doing it for them just because it's quicker, it's not as time consuming, it's easier for us. What we need to focus on is not what's easier for us, what is best for that individual, for that person. And this is where giving the right level of support is essential. So whether it is telling them to do something or actually physically helping them do something with something called hand over hand support, which we could do with CK, for example. All of these is making sure the individual has the right level of support for their needs. And we are not over supporting or under supporting, because if we don't give them that support, nothing will get done. So it's about making sure we go to the limit that they can based on how well you guys know those individuals, okay? And the final point is about maximising choice and control, which we've talked about as well. So it's about looking for the opportunities throughout the day for them to make their own choices. So BK choosing what he wants to watch on his iPad, for example, that's him making a choice. With CJ, if he wants to go out or not, it's still a choice at the end of the day, isn't it? And let's use DB, for example, the clothes she's wearing, making sure that give her two outfit choices in the morning, she can choose which outfit she likes. Because if we give the individuals that choice and control, they will feel safer, they'll feel more like they're doing something more meaningful, and they're doing something for themselves, and they're becoming more independent. As I said, we're not here for the guys to stay with us their whole lives. If that happens, brilliant. But while they're with us, we can do what we can to try and give them the best opportunities to be able to cope in the community or whatnot. Some might never be able to do that, of course, but then if they're with us, at least giving them that chance to do as much as they can while they are with us within the setting. Okay, so they're the four kind of subcategories that active support covers. We're going to go into a bit of detail about each individual one just to give a bit more, okay? So, first one is here. Every moment has potential. So, I'm going to ask you guys a question. As I say, I don't want it to just be me talking. Getting the weekly shop, how many steps do you guys think that could be broken into? And can you give me examples of those steps?
I'm choosing a day for the shopping,
Mm-hmm.
choosing where to shop,
Mm-hmm.
when to shop, and with who, etc.
Yeah, brilliant. What else? Do you just take your residents out randomly? What else is part of that process?
Items to shop.
Hmm?
Item to shop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What he wants.
getting them to choose the items they want. Yep, that's right. What else? Prompting, yep. Go and get that, whatever it is. Let's go to this shop and get them to choose what shop. Yep, that's right. What else? What happens if they've got, for example, capacity to manage their finances, for example?
Allow them make payment at a till.
Yeah, what else?
Helps in packaging their stuff.
Yeah, right.
To take the items themselves.
Like all, gone.
Or maybe letting them get what they want even if it doesn't make sense, like a proper financial decision.
Exactly. So what I have done, each individual is different. I have just done a basic breakdown of getting a weekly shop. How many steps to be included within a weekly shop? Myself, I managed to get, I think it was 11 steps. And that's just going out to get a shop. So again, if we break it down, first step, understanding money by recognizing coins and notes if they have that level of understanding, if they have that capacity. We can't make an assumption they don't know how much they're spending. I know a lot of things are on cards now, but some things they might need to do through cash or whatnot. So again, recognizing those notes and coins about exactly what it costs. So for example, if they buy an apple for £1, can they recognize £1? And it's again working out exactly step by step what is needed. Again, that goes back to knowing how much items cost as well. So do we know if they get given £20 a shop, they'll be able to get everything they want? Do the individuals know that? Are they doing any of that work with you guys, saying like going on Tesco's Express online website, saying, oh, actually, the cost of milk is £2, the cost of tomatoes are £1, so how much do we actually need? Obviously, this is more for the individuals with slightly higher capacity, but you can still break it down for the individuals that don't have as much capacity for them managing their finances, because do they know what the card is for when they're buying something? Okay, and again, how much is needed, that covers that as well. And then making sure the individual actually has their money or their cards. You guys all do that as staff members. Yeah, exactly. But this is all stuff that you guys are doing as staff members, but what we can have the individuals be a part of. Obviously, we don't want them to lose receipts, of course not. But if we get them to, use contactless, they use their cards, and then they just take the receipt out and give it to you. As an example, that is them knowing that they are doing something for them. Okay? And again, with their keys as well. Do they know how to get home? Do they have their keys? I know it again depends on their level of capacity and whatnot, but for example, IG, I think she would know if she had the keys to get back. So does she manage those keys? Probably not, in case she comes back and doesn't go back out. But it's about knowing for her, before I leave to go to community, me or my staff member should always have keys and money with them. So it's them getting involved with that process as well. Okay? And again, how to get to the supermarket. So obviously for RE, does he know how to walk to the shop literally next to the place? Have we tried it? Probably not, because the staff just take him because it's safer. And the idea is we want to try and be safe, of course we do, but if we are too safe, we are limiting their level of independence. And that's what we need to always keep on top of. We can't just say, oh, we don't know if they're going to be able to cope in the community, so let's not go out at all. Yeah.
Once, but immediately he got there, he stripped off naked, he's standing, and that was chaos. The police have to come, the neighborhood have to call the police, all that some stuff, maltreating the resident, and we are not. We're just trying to support, to let him put on his shirt and all of that. So police was around, so it was so chaos about. After then we stopped after.
Because of the potential risk of the police coming again, but again, for some of the residents, RE, they might realise the police they're there to help them and they're there to keep them safe. So if they are in crisis, stripping down or whatnot, oh, police are not the enemy. They're there to make sure that everything's okay and that they're all right. And you guys as staff members, you will never get in trouble with the police if you are doing what you can to support the individuals as best as you can. As long as you report and record everything, oh, we tried to take him out, we gave him the choice, we made him choose this, that and the other. Okay, in doing that, he ended up stripping down, running away, whatever it is, climbing the wall in CK's case. But if you can write that you tried it, then you guys are all secure and safe, because as an organisation, it's about changing the mindset of not avoiding risk. It is doing positive risk taking, knowing actually if we take a small risk, it will be a massive pull-off, a massive, like, a win for that individual. We're here for the individuals. If that's what they need, at least we're giving them that opportunity to go to the shop themselves, to choose which type of pasta IG wants or whatnot. Again, crossing the road safely. So I know we did this with CK when we were out as well, just making sure they know they need to push the button. They know they need to wait until the green man. And it's about giving them these opportunities to be involved with all of these processes. The problem that we find, because as I said, I've been in this situation as a support worker, we get absolutely exhausted because we are doing absolutely everything. We've got this to do, got that to do, got this to do, got that to do. If we give the guys more of an opportunity to be involved, that could result in less stress for us. If we can get IG to do her own personal care, I know that's a bit difficult with her, but yeah, again, with DB as well, getting her to, again, she struggles to get out, but at least we keep trying to get her out because we know she goes there with her mum and no one else. So she's able to go out, but she's just not confident in doing that. So it's constantly trying. There might be an escalation that might happen. I'm not going to say that's not going to happen, but if we keep trying, everyone tries it and is on the same page, the individuals will have the expectation that they can do more for themselves. They are here to become more independent. So as I said, we talked about, finding specific items in the supermarket as well, getting them to choose if it's not the right choice. In our opinion, if that's what they want, that's what they want. We can't stop them from getting what they want. The only reason that could be questioned is if there are health professionals involved and the health professionals say that it is not safe for them to eat X amount of chocolate or drink X amount of fizzy drinks. But if the GP or medical professional has not said anything, the individuals are entitled to make their own choices in doing that. It might be unwise in our viewpoint, but for them, that's them becoming more independent and doing what they want.
As long as they're not trying to get a sop.
They're not trying to
To get a sop.
a
Sop. S-A-W.
Oh, a saw. Well, yeah, that's not great. But again, that is about doing the risk assessment at the time. Okay, a saw for her is not great. Yes, but again, it is about making that judgment. But a saw is very different to a chocolate. But I know what you mean. Obviously, if it comes to stuff that dangerous, then yes, we obviously need to be more careful. But yeah, again, getting the individuals to queue in the supermarket. Everyone in their life has to queue. Everyone in their life has to wait, especially in England. Everyone likes queuing up and waiting. So getting the individual to wait as well. They might struggle. If they can stay in the queue for 1 minute, brilliant, that's fine, that's enough, they can go outside. It might extend, they might be able to do it 2 minutes in the future. Again, we need to keep trying. They might not be able to do it at all, but we don't know until we try. And if we just try it and then they don't, okay, we've learned. Doesn't mean we stop. As long as they don't put themselves or others at risk, then it's okay. Then it's okay. And again, we talked about paying the correct amount, so actually using the card themselves, because as I said, it's a lot quicker and easier for staff. Oh, we need this, this and this for the weekly shop, pay, done, we're out the shop. But how much is that individual getting from that experience? Minimal, absolute minimal. It's easier for us as support workers because we feel like we've always got millions of things to do and we need to do things quickly. We don't need to do things quickly. We do it in the time that's right for the individual. And if it takes longer, it takes longer. Obviously, when it comes to IG and she's staying till 11 o'clock at night, that makes it more difficult, like with her non-compliance. But again, it is still doing it in her own time and making sure that's safe. Again, in that case, I think you were quite far away when it happened. I think on the way to a trip or something when it was quite late. If it's more local, the manager can organise for staff to be swapped, and if they stay there, they stay there. As long as she or any of the guys are not at risk to themselves or others, they can stay there. Okay? Go on.
I just want to ask this: is it possible for us to help them manage their money? Because we have a resident that is on bedbound, but it's verbal. He knows how much he gets weekly. So for the fact that he knows,
You're talking right, yeah? Yeah.
For the fact that he knows how much he gets, he wants to buy everything at once. You can request for 5 things in a second, and he must get that. He just wants to like spend the money.
So
And he doesn't care if he gets finished.
you're not going to like the answer to this. You let them spend. You let them spend. No, because obviously we don't have the right to manage the individual's money unless they are deemed to not have the capacity to deal with it themselves. If they have the capacity to deal with it, like he does, and he wants to spend, again, going into sending sprees, going quick, that relates to his mental health and his ADHD diagnosis as well, because he wants everything in one go. But we can't stop that, it is his money. Problem is, if he wants food and he's got no money left, that's the reality. Let him shout. Let him shout. Are you getting hurt, or is he getting hurt? Let him shout. Let him shout. We are here, as I said, the only reason we should get involved when necessary is if the person or the staff member is at risk. If they are not at risk, let them shout till all day. Yes, it's exhausting, it's draining, and it hurts your eardrums. Yes.
So I need to move the car to different
Oh
location.
my God, okay. You regret driving now, don't you? And again, if they are shouting, that is their behaviours, that is how they're dealing with it. But if they're not hurting themselves, the risk is because he can do self-interest behaviour, but that doesn't happen enough to make us be able to manage that money in that situation. So if they want to shout and spend all their money,
He doesn't really get enough for a week. So, and it's someone that he always wants something like every second. Once he's awake, he wants 5 foods at the same time. The next 30, 40 minutes, he wants 5 drinks at the same time. So,
and again, we then need to, of course, but again, it's expensive, but it's his money. It's not our money to manage in that aspect. He has the capacity. He wants to spend all his money on vapes and monsters. That's his choice. If it means he can't eat, again, he has made the choice to buy something that isn't as beneficial in our view, but for him, he likes it. So all we can do is advise, do you think you should spend your money on this? It means you might not be able to afford that. And as long as you have made it clear to him and he's still choosing to do it, then that's the reality.
What about in a situation whereby, because I remember there was a time myself and another staff member, we took eyes to Brentford city center. Getting there, honoring to me, before we left the house, they communicated with our mom, and the mom told us that she has over £600 in her account, so she can get it.
She can get what she wants.
Getting there, I did walk into an expensive perfume, so that's the one to get over £300.
If that's what she wants to spend the money on, yeah, but
almost £400.
yeah.
And I was like, I don't think you need this.
Yeah.
Come on, this is, to me, it doesn't make sense to me.
But that's the difference. What you just said there, it doesn't make sense to me. We're not focusing on the individual. So that's why we explain like you did.
Yeah.
It might be
Before then,
expensive.
sorry,
Yes.
I was
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
phone with the mom.
Yes,
But
yeah.
The mom said, "Oh, don't allow her to spend that amount of money." But you told us. He
Yeah,
said,
the mum's very
he said-
difficult.
he said,
Yes.
"Because, Dad, she have over 600 pounds.
Mhm.
Go ahead and get over 600.
Now he's
Now
selling
you are
stuff
telling us
not to
not
allow
to
her.
spend
Yeah.
that amount of money.
And that's not right. And this is the problem. Again, unfortunately, with the residents that we work with, we also work with their families. And that is exhausting. It's very, very hard. Especially, I know a lot of the parents with the guys that you're talking about. Yeah.
To get in touch with her manager as well.
Yeah.
She's telling us something different. At that point, we got stuck in between.
Yeah.
We don't know what to do. Izzy said she wants that particular perfume. Not just that. She also wants another Nike up and down and the bag.
She bought that one.
Yeah, she bought that one. That one is a bit less, but it's a bit okay. Everything will cost her like 160
Yeah.
pounds. It's still okay. But this 370 something pounds, it's almost 400 pounds for just one perfume. And we all knew
Yeah.
Izzy doesn't use perfume. So
Yeah.
why did you want to get it?
And again, that's when you look at, firstly, that could be seen as an ABC. There might be seeking some sensory input from the perfume. That's another way to look at it. But the focus is, if we as staff advise them, if you spend this money, you might not be able to afford X, Y, Z. That's all we can do. We are not their parents. We are not in charge of their money. As I said, unless there is a legal standing in terms of capacity, that means we can be in charge of their finances.
So at the end of the day, we got stuck there. The mother said, please don't allow her to spend that money.
And again, this is where I'm talking about. It's very hard to focus on the individual when the parents and family are involved.
Yes.
But then it should be raised with the service manager, and if needed with me, to speak to the parents, to speak to the family and saying, look, we are encouraging choice for this individual. But obviously, if you guys feel comfortable having that conversation, that's up to you. But that's a very difficult conversation to have. And so then that should be a responsibility of your project managers, team leaders. I'm not sure how it works within each service. But if they're still not comfortable there, then speak to me, and then I can get involved with the parents and say from a behavioural perspective, yeah.
We have as staff working with Izzy. Sometimes the family contradict things a lot, a whole lot. They will tell staff different things entirely.
Yeah.
Behind, they give out different information. So when it's like that, Izzy will see you like, you doesn't want me to spend my money or do what I want.
And that causes her to escalate.
And that's caused
Yeah,
a
yeah.
lot of incidents and behavior.
I know, and
For the
again,
past 3 years,
but you're taking away her choice, so it kind of makes sense why there's an increase in behaviours, and so this is where the discussion with the mum and the grandma as well is very important for her.
3 years, to my own understanding, Izzy, if the family was giving her the right support, I think she would have had less incidents.
And this is a problem. Things have been obviously going on for a long time. To change stuff that's been going on for a long time is very, very difficult. But I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't say it can be changed. It would just take an awful lot of work, an awful lot of time, an awful lot of energy. But
Possible for them not to know how much they're getting. Like
So-
you said, the family told oh, you have up to like 600 pounds. Is it possible for the family not to disclose their
so again, this is when it comes back to what we talked about in terms of the capacity of the individual. If the individual,
like, oh, you have 200 pounds in your account, don't worry.
yeah, if
Even if you ask the family not to say anything,
Yeah.
you can't control.
no, of course, and so all we can do is, unfortunately, while the family might not be supporting us in the way that we work with that individual, we then have to deal with the consequences. That's the reality. But if it gets too much, then conversations need to be had with the family, because then there's the legal route to go down. Does the individual have capacity? Who has the right? Who has the last power of attorney? If the parents don't have it, then they have no say. And so then that is a whole big legal issue that can be addressed, because it does happen a lot. Okay, we're going to move on. Go on.
Another thing I was going to talk about, just quickly taking back to the active support.
Of course.
Now, is about the house chores and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do when the service user is
in doing nothing.
It would even trigger her. She doesn't even do anything.
Then you don't have to do it.
Yes.
They don't have to do it. The only reason, again, you would have to get involved in and make them do it is if they end up putting themselves at risk, if there is infestation in their room because of various like food being left or dirt or feces, whatever it is, then obviously that's a different issue. That's a level of care which then we would have to get involved. But again, we would have to explain to her the conversation and say, look, the risk of you being in this infected area is higher than you not doing it. And so if you're not able to do it, then we will have to do it as best we can. But again, I would only say do that if it is an actual risk to yourself or individual in terms of health. That's the only reason you would get involved. Otherwise, you can spend 4 or 5 hours just encouraging them to try and mop the floor. Okay.
It can even trigger them.
Oh, of course.
Like
And
Harry doesn't want to do.
Yeah, I mean, it
Yeah.
takes me back to, it now feels like we're doing more of caring for them rather than actually
Support.
supporting.
and that's yeah. And this is unfortunately the place, because this approach has always been within this organisation. It seems that it is a care focus and not a support focus. It's a big change that needs to be done. This is where me coming in is to try and start and encourage that process.
Some of them will tell you definitely say them don't want it inside anymore.
If they don't want to do it, they don't want to do it.
You can't monitor how clean the cleanliness is.
Yeah.
Because they don't want you to come in there
Because
clean.
then the place is
And
messed up.
like CJ,
Yeah,
him said don't come inside and
that's right. I know.
don't want no one in the field clean and him don't clean.
Yeah, and I know Shagun has made the decision every Monday to go in there to do the cleaning,
Yes,
but that is because of the health and risk issue. Yeah,
Yes, you can go in there Monday day
yeah,
to try to do the cleaning.
yeah. All we can do is encourage. If they don't do it, they don't do it.
One of
That's the
them-
reality.
one of them did upstairs already. Never used to be near Rupert.
Mm.
Me and Sharma, we decided say he have to be it. You can't stay there and smell like that.
Mm,
It's that we can't come to come work because it's not healthy.
yeah.
I-
So if
me and Sharma go upstairs and we sit down in the living room. We just go in there and take mop bucket and full it of water and just wet up him right in the settee.
Yeah.
And then Sharma take off him clothes and we put him in the bar.
Yeah.
When he come out, he was smacking brand.
yeah, and again, this
When he
is
said that's the
yeah.
way every time he say international minor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. And again, all we can do is encourage. We are not here to force anything, and because forcing the issue creates potential risk. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And so we just do everything we can to encourage what's best for them. As I said, until it gets to a stage where it puts your health or his health at risk, then it goes to the next stage. Then a discussion needs to be had saying what is best for your well-being and his well-being. And that's a different conversation. But
You remember Rupert?
no, he must have been before I came.
He passed before you.
I did hear stories about Rupert though. Right, but what we'll do, we can go on about this, but let's move on to the next section as well. 12 sections, sorry. Okay, again, it's what we talked about really, doing things little and often. So what we've got here, in terms of the cleaning idea, breaking it down into individual steps. I've used a bus journey as an example here. So just going on a bus journey, if they can wait for the bus at a bus stop and that's all they can do, brilliant, they've achieved something. You give them so much praise because they have completed that one part of the process. They have managed to leave the house without taking their clothes off. Amazing, that's fantastic. And so then it is about breaking it down into smaller, achievable goals and doing them a little and often as possible. An Oyster card and then the individual using an Oyster card. Those two things can be worked on with the individual to get them to become more independent. None of this is going to happen overnight. It's not a quick fix because As I said, a lot of the individuals that we work with, they've got so used to things being done for them their whole lives. Not just here, but before they came to our service as well. And so it is about changing that, and it could take 2-3 years with some of the cases. Like MG as an example, for him to go back out, that's going to take a very, very long time, because he's got so used to not going out, then it means he's not going to be able to achieve going further. So then we just focus on getting him outside his room into the hallway, getting him down the stairs, getting him into the garden, very small steps, and giving him that encouragement as much as possible. So just step out the room. Don't say, oh, let's go out in the community. That's too much. Break it down into little steps as often as possible. And all the activities that we're doing with the guys, again, break it down into simple steps. So this is an example to make salt dough, so a sensory like Play-Doh type thing. Don't just say, oh, we're going to make Play-Doh and do it for them. Like, what you break it down. Get the individual to mix the flour and salt together. Okay, they've done that. They might not be able to mix a water, food, colour, or whatever. Okay, but they've done one step of that process. And that is what you focus on. When we know they can do that step successfully, we can then move on to the next step. We don't have to do it all in one go. We don't have to expect them to do an entire thing in one. That's a lot. It's a lot for them, it's a lot for us, but it'll be even more so for them to be able to cope in those situations. So it is making sure we break them down and giving little steps as often as possible to make sure they can achieve. The next part that we've got is about graded assistance, okay? I've got a video that I will share with you guys that we will watch now. Okay, what's the time? Yeah, okay, it's about a 3-minute video. So it gives you a summary of what graded assistance is. So this goes back to the over-supporting and under-supporting the individuals, okay? I apologise, it is an Australian accent.
Graded assistance.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Graded assistance to ensure success.
Okay, a little bit more here.
To participate in an activity or social interaction, a person may need assistance. There are different ways of providing assistance. There is asking,
You want to get the blender going? So you want to bring that over here?
instructing,
That one.
prompting or gesturing,
And this part here, just rip it all off. It'll peel back. So pull it
demonstrating,
back like that. Yeah, so you want to keep going? Yeah, there, yeah, exactly.
guiding a person physically, the type of assistance you provide and how much of it will depend on the person and the situation.
Yep.
Individuals require different types and amounts of assistance. One person may need a prompt, whereas another may need physical guidance, such as hand-over-hand assistance. In one situation, a person may need to be shown how to do something, but in another, may just need verbal instruction. Adjusting the type and amount of assistance you provide is referred to as graded assistance. You need to provide the right type and amount of assistance to the person so they can successfully participate in an activity or social interaction. Judging the right type and amount of support a person needs is not always easy. Too much support takes opportunities away from the person. Too little support can mean they don't experience success. You can ask yourself, what support does the person need to successfully participate in this activity or interaction? To use graded assistance well, you have to focus on the person. Sometimes providing the right assistance involves standing back and letting the person do it themselves. But other times, you may need to perform a step to keep the activity moving along smoothly.
Let's see.
It takes practice to become skilled in graded assistance. You have to know each person and learn to judge the right type and amount of assistance they need in each situation, and then how to effectively provide it. If you use graded assistance well, then the person you support can participate in meaningful activities and social interactions.
Thank you. You are doing a great job with that. And I think
It's a lovely video. And going back to what I was saying, the more involved in meaningful activities the residents are, that will help decrease the behaviours, because they're not going to be bored, they're not going to be waiting there, they're not going to be feeling under-supported or over-supported. This is where it's about getting the balance right. Okay, so breaking it down, 5 steps for graded assistance. Asking, so using words without visuals. Instructing, using sequencing boards and step-by-step boards. That's what I showed you on the slide before, and we'll go into a bit after in the final training. Prompting and gesturing, so touching the foot of an individual when wanting them to put a shoe on, which I know we do for RE, for example, pointing to where they should put something down. Demonstrating, showing the task directly to the individual, or physically guiding, so it can be hand over hand or hand under hand support. Okay, is there any questions about those 5 stages? And for me to come in, I can't tell you guys what level of support your residents need. You guys know them better than me. You guys know them better than anyone else, sometimes even better than their family. And so it is about using your knowledge to ensure that they can be as independent as possible. Again, the final subcategory was maximising choice and control. Using choice boards, so this is again, which we'll go into in the final training, getting them a choice, for example, if they want pasta or pizza that day, if they want to go out or stay at home that day. Give them pictures of what they need and get them to choose. If they have 45 minutes to an hour to choose one, that's how long it takes them to choose. At least that is them being involved in their own life and making it meaningful for them. You can use symbols. Again, for some of the residents, this might be a bit too abstract and confusing. So you would then use real life pictures of what the residents know. So for example, their actual bottle rather than a picture of a bottle, an actual banana rather than the symbol of the banana. So again, that is based on the individual's needs, and that is support that I can give you guys if you're not sure, as well as support from the speech and language therapist, okay? And again, this is similar, where it's got the real life picture followed by the symbol, so they can start associating the symbols with the real life pictures. And then with that, it can give them more communication and more level of understanding to engage within this process. The final training, I'm going to give you guys access to this. You guys will, every service should have access to creating these visuals. This is something that I've been slowly working on. A couple of services now have access. I'm slowly rolling it out to all individual services, so everyone can make these individual for their residents, okay? And final bit, key takeaways. So, change the style of support we offer from caring for to working with. That is what active support is. Every moment has potential. Acknowledge the small victories that the guys have, because that gives them a sense of accomplishment. It will make them want to do it more. I managed to choose which shoes I wanted. I managed to say I needed my shoes on. That gives them a sense of accomplishment and will make them more willing to do it, because that gives them internal positive reinforcement as well. Again, offer a graded assistant.
Sometimes some of them don't accomplish nothing like you how you try.
Yeah. So then, yeah.
Them don't, you keep on trying to them don't accomplish nothing. Just like in CJ, I'm telling you.
Yeah. And again, all we can do is try and encourage it as much as possible. Maybe what we are offering might be too big, which is why we need to break it down into smaller things. So even if CJ will, I don't think he'll ever take off his gloves, but but if he decides to go out into the community, and telling a staff member he's going out, that in itself is a massive thing, because he is telling you he's not just walking out. Because I know there's been a few instances in the past where he's put the code in and just walked out. Yeah.
He do that. He don't need assistance.
Yeah, and so this is the thing. If we are giving those small wins, so getting him to actually put his rubbish in the bin, whenever it is on the Monday when you guys go into his room, he's putting the rubbish in the bin himself, not the staff doing it. That gives him that sense of achievement that he's getting. It's a small win, but it's massive because it shows that he can do it, he is able to do it. And again, maximising choice and control, okay? So, yeah, a couple of visuals to end off. So, I didn't really go into detail about the task analysis. This is how we break down the tasks into small things. So, you know, we did the shopping explanation, getting on the bus, choosing the shop, recognising money. They would go in all the individual steps. So you know which one they can do, which one they can't do. That's work that I can do with all of you guys to make it more individual, okay? So we can talk about it afterwards, see what we can focus on for those individuals. Again, the choice board's talking about, this is step-by-step guide in terms of going out in the community, and the 4 main parts of active support, okay? And so that is the end of the second training forum, 12:25. Okay.